All right. Are we
band.
sharing our names? Full names? We just do the first names.
Whatever you think. You're the host, man.
Let's just go by Joe Dierte and Trampled by Zane. No,
There we go.
we're this viewers. This is my brother from another mother, legit,
Yeah,
my half brother,
for real.
Zane. Yeah, uh, Zane here has lived a pretty crazy life, traveling around, growing up in Tennessee, and then joining the Air Force, and now you are settled in South Carolina, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah. Why did I not know that? I was thinking North Carolina there for a second, but
it's close enough.
yeah. All right. But we on this podcast, this is a second podcast, so bear with us, bear with me. We're going to be
Yeah.
talking about music, and I wanted to pinpoint, focus on people that are successful or living musicians. People that make music in general. Anything up to like people that do producing or engineering, managing, whatever. So
Yeah.
introduce yourself, Zane, and yeah, we're going to be talking about family and all kinds of stuff too. So we'll try to hold off on sharing the names and everything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's probably why you got me on here for your second show because I'm not successful in music, but I
You're more
tried for a little
successful than
while.
Cameron and I. Cameron and I, we did the first one. We aren't successful. You've got more fan base than we do.
Yeah, yeah, maybe not anymore at least, but it was fun while it lasted. So, so I mean, like, what do you want me to introduce myself about?
Oh, let's talk about instruments that you play and what you've done musically so far.
Okay, so I mean, I started out with guitar. Like, Dad is an awesome guitarist, and there was always guitars around the house, and rock and roll albums and all that. So, I mean, at a very young age, even before I knew how to play guitar, I would just grab one of his guitars and turn up the stereo to Robin Trower or something like super loud and just be strumming along and jamming like I'm playing it, even though I didn't know what I was doing. But I mean, probably like 14, I started actually like learning songs, and it became like everything I was consumed with. Probably to 14 to I don't know, like 17 was all guitar, and then around 17 or 18, maybe even 19, I don't even remember. It's all blur, but that's when I figured out how I could scream in a microphone and do it how professionals did it instead of just that quiet little weird scream that people do that can't be picked up in a microphone.
Yeah,
just
you're doing
just
the
one.
gutturals.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, obviously that's a very select crowd that finds that appealing, and even if you make it successfully in that field, it's not like you're going to be a millionaire or anything, but you could at least probably make a living where you can pay for your gas and eat Taco Bell every night.
Hey, that's it's better than I've ever done, so I'll take it.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of like where I left off, like in that field, was doing vocals for like a few years for different bands, uh, screaming and all that fun stuff. And now, I mean, as
You're
you know,
talking about
all I do.
you're talking about in Tennessee though, right? When you was a teenager and probably in your early 20s.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, from 14 to 19 was playing shows in Nashville, like the underground, metal scene. I mean, my first show was a talent show at a Christian school, and
Playing that type of
we even
music.
did like, yeah, I don't even know like who approved that because that was a mistake on their part, but
Were
but
the lyrics that nobody could understand at least religious or not?
yeah, it was at least a Christian metal band. Like Haste the Day was we did one of their covers, which that was like one of my big influences when I was like 14, like Haste the Day and um like Devil Wears Prada and like bands like that. Um
Yeah.
and
I've
like
heard of these
and
bands.
Pantera and
Yeah.
and all that. But
The
but
biggest Christian
I
band
mean,
there is, right?
yeah, yeah. But I mean, it started off with learning Nirvana and Smoke on the Water, of course, all that stuff.
Yeah.
it I don't even really know how I got into the metal scene. I guess because that was like popular in Nashville as like the underground scene was metal. So I think my first like real show I saw, I mean, besides like seeing like rock and roll artists with like Dad and stuff, but realizing that that was kind of a lost art and you weren't gonna like really get anywhere doing that anymore. And in Nashville, like the underground scene was pretty exciting. And I saw Trivium, like their Ascendancy album, like the very first, at least main album, I think.
Yeah.
That was like my first show with them and Devil Driver and In Flames. So
Oh man, you
after I
got
saw
In
that,
Flames? I didn't know that. I'm jealous. What the hell?
yeah. So after I saw that show, I was like, man, I want to do this stuff. So I think that's kind of what got me started. And obviously, the first few bands sounded nothing like that and wasn't nearly as good. But it was still, fun figuring it out and getting bandmates and writing music. I mean, I didn't even know chords or anything or like the names of them. I just like knew how to like play and make up my own songs.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't even until a few years ago when I started playing at church, ironically enough, that I started learning what chords were and all that, because I had to like read chord charts all the time, like to play the song. So I was like, what's B minor?
Hey, I played like, I
But
think I calculated it just the other day. I played for like 25 years now, and I still don't know that stuff. But I can hammer out things like Meshuggah and Animals as leaders somehow. But
yeah,
this is you have a determination and a lot of time. But so like for church,
yeah,
when you
yeah. You just
songs,
gotta
you
figure
had
it out.
like the charts in front of you with the notation, no tablature, huh?
Yeah, no tab. I mean, like there's like one app that they have called Worship Online, and that's like, I mean, that's mainly how I learned, was just like watching videos growing up and stuff. But you know, they have tabs for like the leads, but also you can like watch them play it. So I just kind of watch them play it and learn it that way. Or,
Yeah.
if you are just playing the chords, and, you can just have the chord chart up there, on your little stand, and, play along like when you're doing acoustic or whatnot.
Okay, that makes sense. Did not know that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
hmm?
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just saying, like, the
Go.
first church that I really started playing for, they didn't even allow you to use a chord chart on stage, because they want to do like fully in it. And it was like more of like, the rock church. So, I mean, you were like,
Let the spirit take
rocking
over.
out, playing the songs. Yeah.
You should have just started like
They
hitting
wanted you to
strings
like
and
know
tuning.
this.
Should have just started like
Yeah.
taking the tune. Ah!
Hey man, I would do some like body banging up there while I was playing, but they wanted you to know the songs before the set. And I mean, you got to practice, obviously, like because we would get there like 5 a.m. to set up, and we would play through the songs so that we were ready to play for like the actual service at 9 a.m. I mean, it was like a complete tear down and put together type operation. So you had to get there real early.
You're doing it with your current church, aren't you?
Not right now. I mean, as you know, with like well, you have one small kid, but with two small kids,
Oh yeah.
we've kind of taken a break. Yeah, we've kind of taken a break from it, because I mean, we still get no sleep, and you got to be there earlier for practice and all that. So
Yeah. Zane and I are in
maybe
our
in the near
20s.
future. Yeah, yeah.
How much
Now,
we've
now
aged.
if I, yeah, now I'm starting to get dark circles and gray hairs and stuff. So
Yeah, dude. If I got closer and had the certain light, you'd see how many gray hairs I had. I was streaming yesterday or last night and had like just this light over me, and somebody commented. They said your beard looks like steel wool. It's
it's
like,
like
yeah,
wire brushes.
yeah, it feels like it too. But
Yeah,
you kind of
I still
touched on
can't
your
grow one.
influences. Yeah, you got it going on you.
Mine's kind of like Joe Dirt's, like your name, man.
So you telling
So
me
ingrained with white
you're
trash
so
DNA.
white ingrained with white trash? You can your beard just grows in all white trashy like that?
I don't know what you're saying, man, but yeah, that's what's going on.
Husker do's, Husker don'ts, whistling bungholes, with or without the daisy sticks.
You're gonna stand there owning a fireworks stand.
Anyone that views this, just know that you're in for just B-rated movie lines. Me and Zane know it. We've watched all the same
Yeah.
movies, and just we can quote Joe Dirt, uh, Forrest Gump. We know all of the lines off of that. Hit or miss, Rambo, and Rocky lines, just nonstop. All kinds of movies.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Rocky and Rambo's the best.
I choose Rocky. I'm not too punchy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as like a full set, Rocky is the best, but I think Rambo First Blood's still my favorite.
Murdoch, I'm coming for you. You touched on your influences earlier. So what made you
Yeah.
transition from the guitar to singing?
Um, I think just because like there was one band that I was in, and like the guitar player, or I was the guitar player, and then this one guy was the vocalist, and then like one day we just like changed up once I kind of like figured out that I knew what I was doing on vocals, and he could actually play guitar too, so he started playing the song, and then I started doing the vocals, and we're like, whoa, that sounds way better. Let's just switch for good, you know. and I mean, he
Planned
was
it.
more talented on the guitar, at least for that genre, you know. And then I guess I was better on vocals, so we just kind of made it go.
Nice. And you played quite a few shows, if I remember. How many shows do you say you had under your belt there in like down underground Nashville in the metal scene?
I mean, I don't think I could count it. I mean, I would say like close to 100, maybe,
Nice.
with you know 4 or 5 different bands that I was in all together.
Yeah.
Probably around that, because I mean, that's all I would do like every weekend, you know, all through high school, and you know, sometimes we play 2 shows in one weekend, but um, yeah, I mean, maybe not 100, but probably pretty close. And we did like some traveling, you know, maybe a 50-mile radius of Nashville or something. We never really like did tours or anything. It was mostly like the same 3 or 4 venues like every weekend.
Yeah. If anyone's viewing this and they want to know, like, why weren't you there, Daniel? I was living in another state. We lived in 2 different states. I'm from West Virginia. He's in Tennessee. I remember Dad telling me though, like, yeah, I'm taking Zane and packing his gear and taking him to a gig or whatever. And this was probably before Dad had an iPhone where he
Yeah.
could record it. But he was talking about like people slam dancing. Our dad is in tip top shape for his age, but I'm sure that he was probably just standing there like, these guys are crazy.
Yeah. Like,
So,
who wants to go to a show where you might get punched in the face?
me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was like a funny thing too, is that, you know, you got so into it that you like knew, like, hey, if people start throwing their arms around like they're like possessed or something, then you're playing something pretty dang cool.
Yeah. I only got
And that
this. This is all I've seen at the show. That was cool, but I would prefer someone to just punch somebody in the face. You know, that's got to be an awesome feeling.
Yeah, I mean, you knew, like, because there was like, you know, people in the scene or whatnot that you know, everybody wanted them to like their music. You know, they were like the cool tough guys for whatever reason. I mean, I don't really know why, but you were like, man, if I can get them to start, you know, hardcore dancing to my breakdown or whatnot, then yeah, like I finally wrote a cool breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that there's a metal scene in Nashville. They go there and they hear like banjos, but
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole thing there, which I don't think I ever checked out a band there yet, but I just know it. But I'm actually friends with some of your friends that are still in metal bands there. Can't remember their names off the top
Yeah,
of my
there's
head.
still a couple I think that pursue it. Yeah. Yeah, and then
Dwayne or something like that.
I
I
mean,
can't remember.
do what?
What's the band's name? It's like Guyan or something like that. I can't pronounce it.
Who's?
It's a guy that we ran into in Destin, Florida, out of all places, when we were there. It was you and me. The first time you and I went to Destin together, we ran into your friend. He looks like me
Uh,
with hair. He just got married. It's on Facebook. Oh well,
I
don't
don't
worry
know.
about it. We'll skip over that.
I
Edit.
don't. Yeah, I don't really keep up with it too much anymore.
I want to say his name's Brad or something like that. I can't. He's a
I
singer.
still don't know.
It's a genty band, but
Okay. Yeah.
well,
I mean, really, the only person that I keep up with in like that still does music in Nashville is Weston, but he does more like country rock type music. But he
yeah.
really is like the best drummer I've ever heard, and he's like the one who's like really made it out of everybody because it's his like full-time job, and he makes money doing it. And I'm pretty sure his band is like famous.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, his country band, what are they called? I can't remember. Like Blackjack Billy, I think they're like actually famous in Canada, and they go up there and ironically like do huge shows in Canada. But
That's crazy.
yeah, but
Why not be famous in Nashville?
I mean he plays downtown Nashville all the time, like in the
Yeah.
bars, from like you know 7 at night till 2 in the morning or whatnot, and probably makes a few $100 in tips or whatever.
Yeah.
But
It's actually a pretty big deal. Yeah. Like, I've seen him. He's posted videos. I'm like, that's Honky Tonk he's playing at. That's huge. And
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's really doing it. I mean, obviously he's not like a millionaire or anything, but he's making like an actual living playing music, so that's pretty cool.
What more could you ask for as a musician? Yeah.
Yeah,
A little bit more. You don't want to
yeah,
be like Gene Simmons.
yeah. I mean, I don't
Sell
100% know what he
coffins.
makes, but
I want to sell you my coffin with my band name on it.
heck yeah,
You kind of touched on growing up around dad and or obviously, but having music around you. Um, do you think that played a part of your influences with picking up a guitar and then the rock bands that he listened to and things like that?
yeah. Because like '80s hair metal was like a big thing that Dad listened to, and
Rat.
Rat,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, Rat and Dawkins were like one of my favorite bands, like growing up, and just watching their videos and like how awesome like George Lynch was and Warren D. Martini on the guitar. I was just like, man, I want to be just like them, but not wear the same clothes or makeup. But
Come on, man.
even though I did wear some eyeliner and some black nail polish for shows when I was like 14, but
Yeah, I still like Rat and Dawkins. I mean, they kind of get a pass. There's certain '80s hair metal bands that get a pass because they are actually awesome and talented.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they're like more so like less known than like a Motley Crue or you know trying to think of another like '80s hair metal band that everybody knows, but
White Snake.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, I like their songs just way more. I mean, I still like Motley Crue and all that, but I would take Rat over all of them, really.
I think yeah, Rat were like they were catchier, but like talent wise, Dawkins. Like you said, George Lynch, he's awesome, dude. And I think Dad got me into King's X a long time ago. Like I can't talk about them enough. I love them, but they're one of my.
I never really listened to them.
Yeah, you need to. Um, the bassist and singer Doug Pinnick had a three-piece band. It was him, George Lynch, and Ray Luzier, who's the drummer for Korn, but he started off. He's like a recording artist or a recording session drummer, and he was
Yeah.
in David Lee's band for a while. He's done like a bunch of bands.
Oh, nice.
He can play like any style of rock or metal.
What band is that?
It's their initials. I want to say I can't remember, but they're actually really good. Like I think they put out an album or two, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's just like good rock, good hard rock.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. And I mean, like, and then you gave me like Alice in Chains CDs, like whenever I was younger too. So I really started to get into them as well. You know, like because I was never like, even though like when I was 14, I learned like Nirvana songs and such. I never was like a big Nirvana fan or anything. Like I always preferred Alice in Chains over them.
Yeah, yeah, they're like out of any of the '90s bands, I always rank Alice in Chains up top. Yeah, I remember right when I was getting out of sports and going straight into the guitar. Um, that's when Dad was getting saved or had already been saved. That just had like a stack of albums or CDs or whatever. And I remember, I don't even think it was like my birthday. I got this huge box in the mail from him. I was like, this thing's heavy. And I opened it up and it was probably like 40 or 50 CDs, man. It had Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, Ministry, a couple of rare CDs in there. Like, who's the rhythm guitarist for Guns N' Roses? You know, his Izzy.
Yeah,
Izzy
Izzy Strat.
had his solo CD in there, which I didn't care so much for, but I just remember
Yeah.
that for some reason. There's a ton of CDs in there, man. That helped me out. That changed a lot because at the time I was probably like listening to Korn, Limp Bizkit, some Creed, you know,
Yeah.
trying to learn their stuff.
Hey,
But
Creed is awesome.
yeah, yeah, Dad and
The Weathered album.
the album cover.
Yeah, like
It's
the
just a
horrible
tree with their
Photoshop
faces
with their faces
photoshopped
in the tree.
into it. Sad. All of their album covers
Yeah.
kind of suck. When you think about it, what's the one that looks like a mummy in the sand just coming out? Like that's like my
Yeah.
favorite one of theirs. I can't remember. You can slam them
Yeah, I
all
don't
you want.
remember the name of it.
I'm glad that Creed and Limp Bizkit are coming back. People are starting to like them because talent's there. I like them a lot.
You're
See,
kind of frozen. Oh, there we go.
I wrote out a couple of questions too. I think we've got like two more, and then we could start doing this. We did a favorite rock singers bracket, my 8 against your 8. There's always a portion. I'm going to do a portion every single time I interview someone new on here. What was the craziest experience that you had with a person when forming a band? Because people that aren't musicians that don't form bands, they don't understand it. Like you have to meet strangers, and there's always
Yeah.
some psycho you end up meeting for some reason in our line of music, the rock and metal scenes. You have a story.
I mean, like you said, whenever I went to the Air Force, I got stationed in England, and while I was over there, I was like, you know, I want to see maybe if there's like a band I could join or something. And, you know, I found some website, you know, kind of like a Craigslist for bands. And there was, you know, a metal band looking for a vocalist. And it was like 45 minutes from my base, you know, in some British town I never heard of. But, you know, I drove out there and, you know, it was funny because, you know, they're all like legit Brits. I was like the only American that they knew, and went in there to, you know, try out vocals for the band, you know, and they were all like exceptional artists. Like they could, like their guitar players, I mean, could do circles around anything I could ever do. And their drummer was great, and their bass player was insane as well. So it was a little bit intimidating going in there, but once we did a couple of songs, and it had been probably like a year and a half or two since I had even screamed in a microphone, because I kind of like gave it up for a while when I joined the military, because I was like, well, you know, that ship sailed or whatnot. But so I was definitely like hoarse after doing like two songs or whatever. But apparently they liked it because they wanted me to join the band, and I just, you know, it was kind of a crazy moment, just, you know, being randomly in this small, you know, town in England and trying out for a band with a bunch of like British guys and making the band. And we ended up, you know, doing some shows and recording some. And I'd say like I was probably like the crazy person in the band that they thought I was, you know, wild. They were all kind of like chill and, didn't like party or anything. And then like back then, all I wanted to do was party. So I'm pretty sure they thought I was, you know, wild and crazy and you know, definitely was dumb a lot too. But but we did have like some fun and recorded some good music. But
yeah, that's a crazy thing. And you think I'm having you on here because you're my brother, but if you think about it, you had like a Forrest Gump style of a lifestyle of music. Like you've been in Nashville, you've been in other states with the Air Force, and then you wind up metal bands in Nashville, a crazy metal band in England. I want you to touch more on that for a certain reason, and then now you're back in the States permanently now, and Christian bands. So, so it's like all over the place.
Yeah.
And when
man.
you was in England, you want to tell the viewers about recording in the same studios? Was it Danny Filth and Cradle of Filth?
Yeah, which was like a star moment for me from like whenever I was 15, 16, and I loved Cradle of Filth, which now I don't listen to him at all or anything, but back then I was like, we walked into the studio in England and there was like lyrics taped to the microphone stand still there, and I was like, well, whose is this? And then like the studio manager guy was like, oh, that's Danny Filth's lyrics, like Cradle of Filth records in here, and they were just in here the other day. I was like, whoa, what the heck? That's awesome,
You get to the microphone
and I guess this guy he recorded like a good amount of like metal bands, and there was like, I can't remember all of them at the top of my head. I mean, I think most of them were obviously like British metal bands, but Cradle of Filth was definitely the biggest one, and I just thought that was super cool. I was like, well, we're in a legit studio then, and we went in there and recorded, and I don't think we ever like paid to get it mastered because I think we ran out of money, but we had like some unmastered versions of it, and it still sounded pretty good. I can't seem to find them anymore. I wish I could because I like some of those songs, and I helped write a couple of them, but most of them were already like done, and we just kind of like did some changes on them, like with my vocals. But I do remember like one funny thing whenever we were in there. I guess like the sound engineer was like telling me to like do something different with the song or like with my lyrics or vocals. I can't exactly remember, but I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he was like, man, I've never had anybody tell me no before. I like that.
What explain to people, because I'm hoping to gain viewers that are not into rock metal, that maybe do pop, hip hop, whatever. What exactly does a sound engineer do? Do you know?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he has all the tracks, for like the music and like the big soundboards where they can change the sounds and lower the volume, raise the volume.
They can lower the volume
add more
and the sounds to go in your left ear or your right ear on your speakers and your headphones, right? All that stuff.
Yeah. And they can add more tracks, to the song. It's all set up, to record the instruments and the vocals. So that's what it's all captured on, through that system. And then they can also, edit it, master it, and do all that with it too. But
which is a whole other art form. It's freaking hard.
Yeah. No, yeah, especially like in a real studio with how huge those things are. I have like this little Boss BR 600 or whatever, and it has like 7 tracks. I mean, that thing has 40, 50, I don't remember, but a lot.
Yeah, I think that you all had the same thing. Like I lived with my dad and Zane here. I think I was like 13. I think I lived with you guys for a good portion of a summer. And that's when I started like recording
Yeah.
this time when I was probably 12, 13, whatever it was. And we had like this
And you
Fostech.
got that Black Beauty Les Paul.
Yeah, I still have it. Although it's not here, it's in storage in Florida.
Oh
um,
man, you need to get
yeah, I only
that.
have one guitar here. I have my 8 string. That's it. So I'm jonesing to play my 6 strings too. But we had that at Dad's. We had that Fostex. I think it was a Fostex 4-track recorder. It was like a cassette. You put it
Yeah.
there, and you can record 4 tracks. So in other words, if you're writing guitar, you could record a verse, record a guitar part, go back to the beginning, record another layer on top of it, put vocals on it, bass, whatever you want to do. But you only have four tracks, and
Yeah.
I had that too. I ended up buying one, and then and then me and my buddy who were in my first band I was in, we broke apart. We broke up. The band broke up, but me and my best friend at the time, he was the bassist in the band. And I was the singer. I was like, let's form us a band. You and I will write the stuff. And we go to these guitar stores, and this is when what it was you had it too. It was a Roland,
Yeah.
or it was a Boss BR 1180. So it's like a 16.
Yeah, the Boss BR, yeah.
Yeah, I think you had a smaller one. We made money somehow to afford a $1,000 recording device. We bought it when it was new. Now you could probably get it for like $40 or something, because the biggest thing was you could burn your songs onto a CD, and that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And it was all like somewhat digital. You could sit there and plug your guitar in and turn this knob and change your guitar tones and stuff. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I think it even had like a drum machine in it too that was real basic.
Yeah. It has like a few different like tempos or whatnot.
Yeah. But I remember that was when I was young and bad and doing anything and everything, and it seemed like a portion of that $1,000. I'm not proud to admit this, but one of the people we were in a band with that housed the place that we would rehearse at, Beanie Babies were a thing. Beanie Babies were worth money. I think they still worth money, but I think that we stole one from that house. We're like, man, this is Princess Diana Beanie Baby. This thing's worth $1,000. We can buy a couple of them. And yeah, I think we took it. We tried to get money for it, and for some reason it wasn't worth any money or whatever. It was fairly new, and we just put it right back in.
Yeah.
We put it back in the case.
That's funny. They even had it in cases. Dang, man.
This family had it in a display case, like where you put fine china. There was about 100 or so Beanie Babies in it, and the tags were all in the display tag carrier. There's like a plastic thing that they could fit a heart-shaped TY.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But who knows? They might be worth a bunch now.
It probably is. Last question before we do the bracket.
I mean, I love that BR though.
Yeah, I actually had it up until like a year ago or 2 years ago, when the last move that we made. I got rid of it.
Yeah, Dad has like a 16-track one or something like that. How like the microphones and the stands and all that. So like my last band in Nashville, that's what we used to record our EP or whatever. Use that 16-track. And I mean, obviously, the quality isn't the greatest, but it did a pretty good job on it.
Yeah, everything sounded good. I remembered, except for the distorted guitars. That has chased me and been my pure hell since writing music. I've always done rock and metal mostly, but for some reason I cannot get anywhere near the tone that I want. I think it's just going to take I think if you go to a legit studio, bring your amp, because amps automatically have the tone that you want. And I guess if you get
you got to mic the amp.
You got to mic the amp, yeah, with a good mic. You got to know the placements of it. I love teaching
Yeah.
people. I hope people view this, and I hope they earn and gain a respect and a perspective of what it takes to do anything that's an actual instrument compared to the crap that they keep, pushing down people's throats, like Taylor Swift's, Taylor Swift, and anything hip hop, and well, actually not anything hip hop. Hip hop's great too, but when you record the instrumentals to it, you literally just do your take on a drum machine or keyboard or whatever, and then
Yeah.
it sounds good immediately. You might have to do a little bit of mixing, but it's like a whole other art form. You learn that when you go to
Yeah.
record to make it sound the way it should live. It sucks that it's we can land a person on a moon, but for some reason you can't just plug your guitar into a device and record it and then bounce it to your phone or onto Spotify or YouTube or whatever, and it sound exactly like you recorded. Like that blows my mind. That's a thing.
Yeah. And that's what made Led Zeppelin so awesome, is that they were like masters in the studio.
I didn't know that. All of them are, usually like one or two of them in bands will kind of take to it. Rush
Well,
was like, well,
yeah, I mean, Jimmy Page was like, I think he like produced a bunch of their albums. So like, apparently I mean, he didn't suck, but he like sucked live because he was just like hammered, I think, all the time. But like in the studio, he was a genius. And then John Paul Jones, I think, wrote a bunch of the music too, and he was like a genius too. So
yeah,
and then obviously Robert Plant has the best vocals.
Oh, we're gonna find out here soon. We're gonna do a rock back here in a second. Last final question before we do that. Where you've moved all over the world, being in for your jobs that you've done and where you grew up, and then being in the Air Force. Do you think all the places you've moved to is that kind of played a part on your taste of music? Do you think that goes hand in hand? Like when you lived in England, did your musical change?
I wouldn't say so, just because I mean they were more like like probably progressive metal type, and I was more of like the deathcore, death metal type of band. So I think I like kind of influenced them a little bit more towards that way, and made them a little bit heavier. But still, they use like their technical capabilities that were like much better than just like regular deathcore music. So it was kind of like the two songs that we wrote together kind of had like that good mixture in it. And then the songs they had beforehand, it was more so their style, and then I was just since it was already written, I was just doing kind of like my take on the vocals for it. But that was always kind of like my go-to for bands, just because that's what I had done forever, and that's what I liked, at least for a while, to play. So I mean, now I mean, I don't even really listen to metal unless I'm like at the gym or something, so I can like have some kind of hype, because I don't even want to be there. So but
oh, come on, man.
I listen definitely to more like the rock and roll type stuff now. I mean, I love listening to Eagles and like Atlanta Rhythm Section, and like Johnny Lang and Johnny Winter, and then obviously like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. There's not like a specific genre. I mean, I do like country too, but I like like the earlier 2000s. Like a lot of the newer country is kind of dumb, because it's kind of like pop country now. But there's still like obviously catchy songs. I know you don't like them, but and then I like more so of like the I guess like rock style worship, kind of like Elevation Worship and Hillsong, those type of worship bands that kind of have more groove to it. Not that any of it's like hard to play or anything. I mean, I don't think that always matters if it's hard to play, because I mean, look how awesome Tom Petty was, and his songs were like 3 chords. So
we went to go see him in concert, viewers, and we sat in front of Cheech and Chong, apparently.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
this is before I started working corporate, and I had a head full of hair, and I think I was like a week away from them taking a hair follicle sample to test if I've done drugs. And there was so much pot smoke everywhere. And we didn't even have like the best seats. We were pretty far away. And I just,
Yeah.
we were sitting there and it just, pot smoke kept just blowing past me like a muffler tip. And I turned around and I swear to God, the people behind us had a joint that big, about that thick around. I was just like,
Jeez.
when we left there, I was just like, we got to get a hot dog or something. I'm starving. I had the munchies. And for some reason, it being downtown Nashville, it was on like a Tuesday or something. So
Yeah.
for whatever reason, downtown Nashville at that time, or maybe even still, doesn't have like hot dog stands or anything like that. We had to go to a restaurant, and I just ended up eating like shrimp or something like that. I was just like, give me whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that concert was awesome, but yeah, Tom Petty was definitely baked out of his mind too.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to see him on his final tour before he passed away, I think. It was
I know
awesome.
that was. Yeah, he was good.
He said,
Remember, he was like, "Yeah, you say it. You say it better."
you say the one, I'll say the other, because we're like parrots. We just
Okay.
hear. And he goes, this string. He goes, this is a 12 string. Everybody's just like, he goes, that's 6 strings more than the usual, or something like that. It was something. He was so
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, and he was like, the first time I picked it up, I played this song or whatever, and I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was like
I know what it was.
Free Falling or
Yeah.
something.
Was it his new song? He goes,
No,
yeah.
it was like it was an old one, like a one that everybody knew.
No. Well, there's one that he played that was a new song, and I actually really liked it. And it goes, this next song is called You Get Me High.
Yeah, I remember that.
He spoke between every single song, and it would always be like long, drawn out, I'm stoned type of voice. And everybody was just,
Yeah, it's awesome seeing a legend live. That was good about being in Nashville, is that I saw like a lot of good, rock and roll artists come through, like Alice Cooper and Aerosmith and Motley Crue, and
did you see the
I saw
Eagles at some point?
Grand Funk Railroad.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, like living in, you lived in Nashville. I live somewhat close to Atlanta. It's just like, if I had a free weekend off or something, I would just look, and there would obviously be an awesome concert. And I'd be like, I'm going to that.
yeah,
And venues
yeah,
have gotten better. Like here we are in outside of Houston. I went to see 311 the other night, and that was awesome. But the venue, they treat venues now. It's almost like a Walmart. You go in there, and it's like there's literally people getting waited on. Like at the show, you're sitting there, and there's like waiters and waitresses bringing you drinks, and somebody ordered a huge chicken thigh to eat. It's just like, this is crazy.
huh? Yeah,
But
I haven't
anyway,
been to one of those. I know there's movie theaters like that.
yeah, it's what it looked like. It's like a huge movie theater with the loudest sound system I've ever dealt with. It was actually hurting my ears, and I was far from the PA. I was just like,
Yeah,
and it was air conditioned. I got up multiple times to walk around because I was
you were
freezing, and I
cold.
found the thermostat. They had it set to 67 degrees. I went in
Because
there
they
with
had
short sleeves.
all them people in there.
Yeah, I ended up walking down to where the people were standing, and I actually just walked in through people. I was like, body warmth. All right, I'm going to share my screen now. And you get me high. This next song is called. So here's
Tom
the
Petty, man.
bracket. Yeah. So take a look at that.
I'm like using my phone, so it's hard to read,
Oh
man.
boy, I'll read them off to you.
Okay.
I always start from the top left and work my way down. We've got this is an easy one, I think. Robert Plant versus Terry Farrell. So I don't
Yeah,
even
obvious answer.
obvious answer. I don't know if you even know Perry Farrell or Farrell. Jane's Addiction, Porno for Pyro singer. Really high pitched, really cool singer. Uh, but I think easily Robert Plant on that one.
Yeah, nobody can touch him, at least for what he did. But
Well, we're about to find out because Freddie Mercury, to me, that's gonna be a hard one to not win at all. But Freddie
yeah,
Mercury,
he's really good.
uh, Richard Patrick. I just thought that I'd throw Filter Singer in there. The dude has some pipes, and a lot of people sleep on that. I
Yeah,
think he's kind of given their band a little bit of a bad rep, though. With man, he's kind of gone off the deep end a little bit with the politics stuff. So it's just,
oh yeah,
yeah. But
that'll get you.
this is easy. Freddie all day, every day on that one.
Yeah, I'm not even like a huge Queen fan, but you can't like knock his talent.
Same, yeah.
Look at this dude. Who's
Uh-oh.
that?
Let me get back to the screen. What's up, Luke? What's up, buddy? Oh, I didn't mean to say the name.
What?
Get some psychos going. I know their names now.
Who do you think? Robert Plant?
What's up, buddy?
Say hi to Uncle Daniel.
What's up? Oh, you rock out?
All right, bud.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next one?
So it's Lane Staley versus Steve Perry from Journey.
And those are like two opposite type of genres,
This is we're going off of our preference though. So I mean, I think we both Lane.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather listen to them than Journey.
I mean, the talent is Steve Perry's pretty awesome, but at the same time, now this one's actually pretty freaking hard, man. I probably need some help on this one. Chris Cornell versus Don Henley.
I mean, that's easier for me because I love the Eagles, but
I do too, though. You can't beat Don Henley, but like at the same time, Chris Cornell's range is like way better, and Chris Cornell's like my favorite singer too. So
yeah. I mean, like the Eagles as a whole, like even though Don Henley, I think is the best one of them all. Like I know they used to call him like Golden Throat or something like that in the 70s.
Yeah.
but like a couple of his like songs or albums that he did on his own obviously weren't as big as the Eagles all together, like with Glenn Fry and all of them harmonizing together. But
I don't know, man. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not a huge that's Soundgarden, right?
Chris Cornell, Soundgarden, Audio Slave. He had Soundgarden, Audio Slave. It's all rock and to some people's feelings and metal a little bit, but he also had a couple of solo albums that really showed off his talent big time. He's like really good soul and blues.
Yeah,
Dude's got like unreal pipes singing. His range is unmatchable.
well,
I'd have to choose Chris Cornell, but at the same time, it's like Don Henley is awesome.
all right, well, just go with Chris Cornell.
All right, we got this one. This one's not hard either, but I hate it's Steven Tyler versus Mike Patton from Faith No More.
Oh yeah, he's good too.
Mike Patton is awesome, man, but that's Steven freaking Tyler.
Yeah,
You can't beat that voice.
Yeah, whenever I saw him, I think it was like 2006 or 8 or something like that, and Motley Crue opened for him. Motley Crue, I mean, was terrible. I think
tell that story about Vince Neil. That one always cracks me up.
Yeah. Like during Dr. Feelgood, I was like, did he forget the lyrics? I mean, he's been singing it for like 40 years, but he just kept saying, "You feeling good, Nashville? You feeling good?" And I'm like, well, can you sing the lyrics? And then one point, this is when he was like really overweight too. He like got down on his knee for like to sing a part of the song, and he like had struggled to get back up. It was pretty funny.
You feel good? You feel good, Nashville?
Yeah, but then Steven Tyler came out with
Microphone.
Aerosmith and crushed it.
That's hilarious. Oh man.
But I did see them a second time, because like every time I saw Motley Crue, it was like, this is our last tour or whatever. And then 2 years later they'd come back again, and the second time I saw them, that they actually were really good. And even like Tommy Lee had a drum solo, like where his drum kit went up and was spinning and stuff in midair, so that was pretty cool. But
yeah, I mean, like you go for their show, and then obviously there's a lot of wild, crazy, fun stuff that's going on in the crowd. But their music has been outdated for a minute. And I mean, if Vince Neil was in shape and he took his vocals good, if he took them serious, that would still be a show I'd like to see. But I don't know. But I mean, Mick Mars was the actual real reason I like him as a guitarist. He's actually a pretty good guitarist, but the dude is not in physical shape for that anymore, and it has nothing to do with something that's easy to be replaceable. Like you could just Vince Neil can get on a treadmill, and Mick Mars is literally falling apart, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, he looks worse than Keith Richards, and that's pretty bad.
Keith is like 1,000 years old. He's like a vampire killer. He like goes and just bites them and they die. So.
Yeah.
I can't remember who Ryan Tedder is.
I know you don't like them, and they're kind of like a newer band that I've liked, and they are more like pop rock, so they're not really like rock and roll. But I just kind of threw him in there because I saw him live, and the dude had like insane vocals and range, like, and I mean he was awesome live as well. But he's with One Republic.
I only know like that one song that everybody knows. It's too late to apologize.
Yeah. No, I mean they have a bunch of good songs, and he's actually like a guy who writes a bunch of songs for other people that are made famous too. But yeah, I mean, who is he up against? I can't even see it.
Jeff Tate, Queensryche.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Tate obviously wins, but
I agree. But both of those. I was gonna let you choose who won that one.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to choose Jeff Tate. I forgot about him. Yeah, Queensryche is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish he would go back to Queensryche, because Queensryche is awesome. That's another. I mean, they're considered hair metal a little bit too, but they kind of progressed into progressive metal, rock, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Rock metal. I don't know what it is. The next one is hard. Sebastian Bach versus Brad Delp. Now I had to Google Brad Delp's name. I never knew Boston singer's name. That's Boston.
Oh yeah.
I think Boston wins this one though.
Yeah. That guy like killed himself too, didn't he?
He did, unfortunately, but I was gonna sit there for a second and be like, okay, well, which one is still like doing their albums and making music, but neither one of them are really active. Obviously, one's dead.
Yeah, one's really not active.
He's down there in Hades. He's actually getting chased by the devil, Diablo. Sebastian Bach.
Sebastian. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even like a huge, Skid Row fan. I mean, there's a couple awesome songs, like "Slave to the Grind" and stuff.
Yeah. 18 a month, man.
Yeah, and his vocals are killer in those. But
yeah, I wish.
But yeah, I think Boston overall is probably better, I'd say.
Yeah. And then the last one, you have to remind me who Dale Thompson is again.
He's the vocalist for Bride. They're like a 80s, 90s type of hair metal Christian band. That's probably why nobody really paid him any attention. But dude, if you listen to Psychedelic Super Jesus and tell me that guy doesn't wail, I mean, he's got like insane pipes. Like he could blast your face off with his voice, and then he could rip your head off with his arms, because he won like I think it was strongest man in Kentucky or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just now realizing I left out quite a few really good rock singers, but oh well.
There's a bunch, but
I got him against my pick, Maynard Keenan. A lot of people say, well, that's metal. I don't really consider him metal, especially the
yeah.
way he sings. Since you know both of these guys, I'll let you choose.
I mean, Maynard was awesome, but he's
Oh.
awful now.
A lot of people get
Uh,
angry when I say that, but his voice is blown, unfortunately.
you just need to listen to Dale Thompson and Bride. But I mean, if you're leaving it up to me, I would choose Dale for sure.
I'm going to go with it. I hope Maynard sees this, man. Stop doing what you're doing and do something with your vocals. I miss your voice. God. Robert Plant versus Freddie Mercury. Oh my God.
Dang, that is like the two best.
I wish that would be like the final, but it's Freddie all day for me on that one. I love both their vocals though. I like Led Zeppelin way more than I like Queen now.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to rethink it. This is our bracket. What are we doing?
Yeah. Like I put Freddie on my list just because you can't deny like how awesome he is. But like I said, I'm not like a huge Queen fan, but Robert Plant's still the guy, I think.
Webweko. Wayne Staley versus Chris Cornell. Man, that's hard, dude.
Chris Cornell's probably better, even though I like Alice in Chains better.
Yeah. We're talking singing wise. I agree. He's just barely better than Lane, though. Like, if Lane had not been injecting sewage into his freaking veins for so many years, he would have been around and done more. And yeah. So this one's
Yeah, because
not.
they even still have good albums even after him, and it would have been awesome if he was singing on them.
Yeah, thankfully Jerry Cantrell did a majority of their songwriting.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Has a good voice still. So, Steven Tyler versus Jeff Tate. Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm spelling his name right. It might be with the V, but oh well.
Yeah. He won't
Boston,
mind.
Yeah. Boston Singer versus Dale Thompson. Dale Thompson just sounds like a NASCAR name.
Well, he's from Kentucky, I think. So that's probably he might have been one.
If you're not first, you're last.
Let's just go with the Boston guy, but you got to check out Bride still.
I will. Webweto Plant versus Chris Cornell for the final.
Robert Plant, man.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure?
Yeah, I am.
Well, I'll say this: without Robert Plant, there wouldn't be Chris Cornell singing the way he did. So I'm with you. Steven Tyler versus Brad Delp from Boston. I'm still all the way with Aerosmith, man. You can't beat those vocals.
Yeah, still him. Even though he can't sing anymore now, but
yeah, they just released that he's throwing in the towel. I guess like some type of health issue. He can't sing like that ever again. So
yeah, didn't he like break his jaw or something weird like that?
Something weird. It's all right, man. He's done enough touring. I unfortunately never got to see him. I had an opportunity to and missed out on it like an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, what is he? He's got to be like 70 now, anyways.
At least, yeah, he's probably in his mid 70s or something. And
that's
still
like me. I saw ZZ Top like I think last year. After the bass player died.
Yeah.
And it was awful. They just look like corpses up there, man.
I'll tell you, I got to see Fleetwood Mac in 2014 with the original members, and I was expecting that. I thought that the majority of them would look like scarecrows up there, but they actually blew me away. Like they were,
Really?
they all got in like shape for their age, and was it Mick Fleetwood as the drummer? The dude was like really up there, just killing it.
Huh.
And Lindsey Buckingham, they're one of the singers and the guitarist. He's his style of playing is really slept on. He plays the guitar like a banjo almost, and it's really
Really?
hard. I can't really play it. Yeah,
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 I mean,
he's
I
really
like
good.
Fleetwood Mac.
So you got Steven Tyler versus Robert Plant. I really like that final. I think we did a good
Yeah.
job on that one.
Yeah, I mean, but both are like insane, and both are like, even though it's kind of in the same vein, it's not at the same time
Yeah,
of like genre wise.
I think I could still like all day listen to Zeppelin over Steven Tyler though, and Aerosmith.
Yeah.
I think both, but there's probably gonna be more songs I skip of Aerosmith than Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin, I can almost just let all their albums roll the whole entire way.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a song that I don't like. I mean, there's songs that are more popular that have been played way too much that I might skip over, but it's still awesome. Yeah.
All right, Robert friggin' Plant is the winner.
We didn't even need that. We knew that would be the case.
Whoa, is that what it looks like on my screen? Wow, it looks really bad.
Is that what Robert Plant's? Is it zoomed in on him or something?
No, I've had the bracket pulled up on my screen doing it, and I just now got back to like what it would look like for the viewers, and it's just a big blur.
She's at that store, I think.
Yay!
Yeah. Heck
All
yeah.
right.
Robert Plant's the man.
Well, that should be it. We can end it now, and if you want to stay here and chat with me for a second or whatever, we can hang out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun, and you know, a little brief background. I mean, obviously, people are going to be way more successful than that, but it was fun while it lasted, and I enjoy, you know, playing for the church now, even though it is like drastically different, you know, and you know, not as technical or anything like that, but you know, you can still really get into the music and enjoy it, and you know, and just like through my entire time in music and really my whole life, I you know, I've loved music, but really the past probably like 5 years, I don't really like play it much unless I'm gonna like play for church, and I'll like learn the song. So I think just as you grow with a family and do all that, things change. You know, you don't have time for all your hobbies and things like that, which you know is fine. Nothing wrong with
Right.
that. But yeah,
Yeah, your
but
family.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that should be number one. You know, and I'm you know thankful for what I got to do in music, and you know I wish I could have done some things differently, but you know I'm thankful for getting to play with bands and making friends and all that, and there's still like a good amount of them that I keep in touch with, so that's cool, you know.
Right on, man.
Yeah,
Good session. We took it way more serious than I thought we would. I thought we would just be
I know.
stupid the entire time. Maybe next time. We're nervous, aren't we?
Yeah,
Probably getting a lot
yeah,
more views
yeah,
doing
yeah.
our
For some
impressions.
reason I did feel nervous. I don't know why, but yeah,
5 people are going to see this.
yeah, they're gonna be like, that guy is a loser.
Both of them.
All right,
All right,
bro.
man.